Let's throw our hands in the air as we soar through the sky.
Yatta!
We'll catch the sun with your hand in mine, and if we work as a team, everything will be fine.
Yeah!
Oh, it's Cure of the What Now?
Let's henshin and start the show.
Hello, fellow Lost Toys, and welcome to episode 44 of...
The Lost Kingdom Toys, the Kingdom of Toys.
No, what's this podcast called?
Oh, Cure of the What Now?
And it's the one show where we know children are evil. They're just inherently bad.
Even if they're actively playing with toys, they're going to forget those toys.
Absolutely. My name is Kat, and I am the pent-up resentment of every stuffed animal in the world.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah, that includes the ones chewed on by dogs.
Whoa.
So
okay,
it's a lot of
there's
resentment.
quite a bit of resentment. I don't know, maybe some of those squeaky toys are sick rats
Mr.
who
Raccoon
enjoy being chewed
was
on.
a freak. And he deserved what happened to him.
I'm your co-host, Joel, and I am the member of the Sakura classroom who's trying to convince them to do a choir version of WAP for the regional contest against the Otakone girls, or whatever they're called.
Macaroni in a pot. So this is kind of a weird episode. There was no episode of Tropical Rouge. We watched 2 Futari Was and 1 Fresh movie.
Yes. Did the double serving of broccoli almost kill me, a man who does not eat his vegetables, or did I find them actually pleasant? And what part of what system in the body does broccoli help?
All of them. It's high in vitamin C and iron and...
Okay, so like my eyesight will get better? Eyesight?
Your immune system, I think?
Okay, I'm feeling healthier, I guess is my point.
Excellent.
Yes.
Do you have a discussion question before we get into all of that?
Yes, with the new year here, I think it's about time that we ask ourselves, what's everyone's New Year's resolution? And as always, we know exactly what Laura would say. She would say to be an even better queen and gain even more praise than she did last year.
Mm-hmm. Manatsu's is just to Tropica Shine. They had an episode about this. They already did all their resolutions.
Did they do a resolution? They did like what they want to be in the future, and that's very similar.
What if we do resolutions for the Fresh girls, since we didn't watch any Tropical Rouge?
Okay. I
think Buki would resolve to face more of her fears. Like, she got over her fear of Tart the ferret, so maybe she can get over...
Oh, she wants to go outside of her comfort zone. Okay, maybe she wants to try, like, at least one new thing a month or something like that. I could see that. I was thinking maybe she'd want to do, like, help an animal. I don't know if she helps a lot at the veterinary clinic, but if she doesn't, maybe she wants to step that up a little bit. Buki is obsessed with...
Miki.
What? Miki, sorry, is obsessed with style and being perfect. So maybe she would want to master a specific skill. I don't know if it would necessarily be style related, but she just wants to be perfect. So like maybe this is the year that she takes up being a flutist.
Oh, I like
Flautist?
that. A flautist.
Thank you. I knew that it wasn't pronounced that way.
A flutist. I like it pronounced that way, though. Love resolves to run the 100-mile ultramarathon over Mount Fuji. Joel and I are going to do that race someday.
Interesting. I guess I could see that. Love doesn't strike me as someone, well, I don't know. She wants to get her happiness.
She's got so much Genki.
She does. Maybe she vows to play Cupid and help 100 different people find their significant others this year to varying levels of success.
Her resolution is to teach Setsuna the true meaning of happiness and to get Setsuna's happiness.
Okay, I like that.
Setsuna doesn't know what that is because she is a robot.
Setsuna's New Year's resolution.
Would it be to make amends to all the people she's hurt?
Yeah, I don't... Make the world a better place. You know, in my perfect world, I think that her New Year's resolution would be to help bring other people who are serving Labyrinth to the side of good. So maybe trying to find some way to reconcile with Westar and Solar and getting them to realize that maybe it can be fun to not be evil for a bit.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
We have failed our one true listener.
Yes.
So the last couple of episodes, we've been trying to send out our discussion question to the crowd so we could read your answers.
We're posting it in Discord. We're tweeting it with the episode. We're putting it on Reddit.
Right, and we want to share the answers you guys come up with here. The last couple episodes we just haven't shared, so you wrote them down. Do you want to share his thoughts for the first one?
Absolutely. So, James, that one welder guy, you've heard the name before, I think, on this podcast. In regards to episode 42, where we asked what silly thing did the girls do to end them up on the naughty list? Like, what semi-out-of-character, semi-in-character thing did they do? And, of course, you and I both missed the opportunity to call out Laura for her tax crimes, which is a long-running segment of this show. We've always known that was her, whatever. Songo robbed a Sephora, which I think makes a lot of sense.
Or Lush. I could see her robbing Lush, too.
Sure, those are products that you can buy. I don't.
Sephora is really expensive makeup, and Lush is really expensive bath bombs.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense. Also, wouldn't it be funny if, like, robbed a Claire's or something that was, like, not necessarily as high-end?
But was, like, her demographic? Totally.
Yeah, exactly. Manatsu forgot to pay for a candy bar at the store, and when the thing beeped, she panicked and ran, which is perfect. Thank you, James. I think this one's my favorite just because it seems like something that would actually happen.
Absolutely.
Minori put a book on the shelf out of order on purpose.
No, why would she do that?
That one I think is the least in character.
What if she went to jail because she saw someone else do that and she punched them in the face?
She beat them to death with the book that they put in the wrong... She's just hitting them over the head with it. I'll show you war and peace. Asuka picked on Yuriko too much. You know, I could see that. What if they got into an escalating prank war and it ended up like... She accidentally seriously hurt Yuriko, like she broke her leg or something.
Oh, jeez.
Like, I'm not saying she did it on purpose. She
no, I
didn't
know,
take
it
a
was
bat,
an accident.
but...
I get it, but still.
And then Karurun ran out of seashell cookies, so they resulted in stealing cookies from the bakery. Honestly, even if Santa found out about that, I think Karurun's too cute. I think Karurun would still get a nice gift from Santa.
Absolutely. This is going to tie into a joke I'm going to make here in like 5 minutes. But I'm pretty sure guns are illegal in Japan. Karurun absolutely got arrested on a firearms charge.
Karurun the mafia boss?
Karurun turned it sideways. That's a Karurun shot.
I love it. And then we also have his responses from last week's episode.
What are their stands?
What are the JoJo stands? Yes.
So... Manatsu's stand is Summer of Love, which has the ability to change people's moods around her and makes them forget what they're doing at the moment and only remember summertime fun.
A fun hypnosis dreamlike power.
I like it when stands aren't just punchy boys. So this one is an interesting one.
I love it when stands aren't just punchy boys. However, following the rules of the main JoJo always has a punchy boy and also Manatsu's boundless energy, I think that giving her a really buff lady stand would be pretty cool in character as well.
She could switch places with Jolene in Stone Ocean and it would be pretty much the same story. Like they're both head empty energy girls.
Okay. You just gave me an idea for an idea swap that I might try to draw.
An idea swap. Like
really quickly, I guess we are kind of technically still in the pre-show. I did, in fact, digitize the mistletoe drawing, but I haven't put it up on Twitter because I've only done part of it. It's still flat colors, and it looks even more like a child's drawing than the pencil version that I had. But once I add the shading and it looks a little more proper, I will throw it up on Twitter. But I count that as having fulfilled my Solemn Cotwin promise, because I set aside some time and I actively worked on it yesterday.
I'm super proud of you. I think it looks great so far. Minori's stand is Table of Contents, and this one is also really cool. Has the ability to vaguely surmise what her opponent is planning. Like a table of contents, you only know the title of a chapter or the subject of what you're going to read. Apparently it was a plot element in a Doctor Who episode. I don't remember that at all.
It was either an old Who before Eccleston, or it was after they introduced Peter Capaldi, because we watched every episode of Tennant and Smith, and that doesn't sound familiar to me. I like this one too, because it's very useful in certain situations, but you can already see situations in which it's flawed, because if it says something like, attack from above, you know to kind of like watch out from above, but maybe that's like, maybe there's a hidden meaning there or something like that, or maybe it's a misdirect, I don't know.
Absolutely. Or she could get so caught up in like, oh, what does this mean, that she misses the actual attack.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
We also have one, and I love the title of this one, but Songo's is Project Runway, so it has the ability to make custom armor and weapons for her allies. I love Songo as a support unit.
Yes.
Like, I know she's mainly a shield cure in the actual show, but any kind of support role for her, I'm going to support.
We don't really have many cures that fulfill the traditional role of a support character from an RPG, because we don't really have cures that can heal each other or boost each other's abilities. But I would love if we got another season with like dance or cheer, kind of like, you know, Hugto or Fresh. I would love it if one character had the ability to bust a move and transfer energy to the rest of the team.
That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Hugto, Hana doing her little cheer.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I think you might have said like in Hugto.
Yeah, I said in Hugto or Fresh,
Yeah,
you know. I'm
sorry. Asuka's stand, apparently, according to James, is literally just Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So, like, she summons him and he just punches people for her? Is that what we're looking at?
Okay, what about this one? This is kind of cheating because one of these is not a member of the Tropical Club. But what if Asuka and Yuriko together have a stand power called Fast and Furious? And they summon cars and they drive real fast.
I love that. That's awesome. Even though I think it's Vin Diesel, not The Rock.
The Rock is in some of the movies, and they have a rivalry, if I recall correctly, where they literally, in their contracts, have he is not allowed to physically be shown as superior to the other, so they have to hit each other in exactly the same number of times, and every time they fight on screen, it always has to end in a draw, or the fight has to be interrupted.
That's outrageous. I love it.
It's so pitiful.
The newest Fast movie was real dumb, and I had the best time of my life watching it. Was that the first movie we saw post-pandemic?
Yeah, it absolutely was.
Huh. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Finally, we have Laura. Her stand is called Aqualung. It's water-based and can control water from a source. So just strand her somewhere with no water and she's doomed. But then she sucks the water out of your bones. Badass.
That would be pretty friggin' cool. I imagine that she'd just have a gourd like Gara that has all of the sand in it, but at the same time, it would be pretty easy for an opponent to, like, break it or something, and then she wouldn't have any more water.
Totally.
So.
Now, we all, with this question, overlooked one of the most important contributors to the Tropical Rouge team, and that is Kururun. Now, in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, objects have been stands. So, for example, there is the sword in Part 3.
Yeah.
So Kururun's stand is an object.
To be clear, Kat and I have watched parts 1 through 5 and some of 6 at this point. We actually skipped parts of 3 because it was going on too long, so we didn't actually see the episode with the sword. So I'm not sure if the sword was the stand or if it was someone holding the sword, but I'm pretty sure it was.
The boat was the stand.
No, the monkey was the stand.
No, the monkey was the user.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The stand can... Yeah, I'm sorry, I got confused. Yes.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You thought I was saying the sword could be a user.
Right, and that's what confused me. I'm like, I don't think the sword had a fighting spirit or whatever, but...
Anyway, so Kururun's stand. It's an object. The name of this stand is Gun. And the stand is just a big fucking gun. Kururun is about to bust a cap in your ass.
I love that. I also love that Kururun's stand ability is just the ability to speak. It's just a human face that can translate for Kururun. Like, Kururun has all of these great ideas, but has to bring out the stand to be like, Asuka, 180 degrees to the left. 180 degrees to the left? That doesn't make any sense. But you know what I'm saying? Like, he gives directions. He's like the commander of the chess pieces.
I love it. Lelouch v. Britannia wishes he could be as intelligent and conniving as Kururun.
Absolutely. Absolutely small brain on Lelouch v. Britannia when compared to Kururun.
Man, talk about characters you weren't supposed to idolize.
He changed the world.
Yeah, but he was a bad person.
He changed the world, though.
Did he?
To the end? I don't know. But I think we could... This is not a Code Geass podcast. So how about we talk about these shows, and even though the big ticket item for today is the Fresh movie, I think we should get the broccoli out of the way.
Let's do it. I feel like we can do it real fast.
Futari Wa episode 44 is the state-mandated Christmas episode. Our episode title, our podcast episode, refers to this as well. And it is more Nagisa Fuji-P drama. It turns out that even though Nagisa's friend, whose name is not important enough for me to remember, confessed to Fuji-P, he's like, hang on, there's someone else that I already like. And Nagisa's like, oh, could it be? And they have some cute moments together, and then the bad guys show up, and Nagisa has to protect him, and she realizes that she can't ever be with him because the bad guys might come after him, but they have a nice moment together anyways. And then, in the last minute of the episode or so, who appears but Kiriya? The one who I've been predicting would come back, and the one who seems most likely to come back based off of his relationship with Honoka. He's trapped between light and dark, and their clashing helped him momentarily manifest in physical form, and he warns them that a fight is coming unlike any that they've ever seen before, and then he disappears. This is
helpful.
Yeah, very helpful. This is mostly to give Honoka some angst to brood over.
Yeah, did they fridge Kiriya? No. I mean, it wasn't brutal, his death originally, but it did give Honoka some pain.
Yeah, but his character didn't exist just to give her pain, right?
Okay,
he wasn't like a two-dimensional character who...
other stuff going on.
Exactly. And, I mean, if he's alive now and capable of, like, coming back in some form, then who's to say that he can't come back in the finale? So I'm hoping that happens. And maybe he could be incorporated into Max Heart. Who knows? I don't know. Did you like this Christmas episode?
It was okay. The Poloon and Meppel stuff was actually really cute.
Yeah.
Like, their developing brotherly bond is very special.
Well, not only that, but Meppel and Nagisa have had a very confrontational relationship where they're constantly picking on each other. It feels like a sister-brother relationship, whereas Honoka and Meppel seem like they get along really well. They're both, gentle personas. But in this episode, we get Poloon and Meppel using a power to grant wishes, I suppose it seems to be, in order to try to give Nagisa a happy Christmas. And Poloon at first summons a bunch of reindeer, and Poloon's like, Meppel's like, you need Santa to go along with this, and then Poloon creates a bunch of mini Santas.
So many Santas. I think our thumbnail should just be Santas.
and so that was pretty great. No, there's an image from the Fresh movie that has to go in the thumbnail.
Okay.
And then by the end of the episode, it turns out that they were able to help Nagisa have a pretty good Christmas time. So I did really like that. I like that they were showing deference and respect for Nagisa and trying to help cheer her up.
Absolutely. And specifically Meppel being like, she needs a romantic Christmas.
Yes.
Like, he knows that girl just needs to hold hands with somebody.
Absolutely. I don't remember when it happens at some point, but somewhere in these episodes, the evil seeds have realized that Poloon has the power of the stones, but literally who cares, because there's only, I think, 4 episodes left, and so we know that in about 2 episodes, Poloon's going to get captured, and in about 3 episodes, they're going to save him using the power of friendship. I am not concerned for his well-being at all.
He's a little dude. I know for a fact that he is in Max Heart, and I was surprised when he showed up here. So I'm not concerned for his welfare either.
Yeah, but that's future knowledge. I'm just saying in the narrative, like, the stakes never really get so high that I actually would worry about his, they're not going to torture him or something.
The end of this, not this episode, the next episode, he's just like, oh, they need help. And then accept the power of light, Popo.
Yeah, from across the building. Speaking of Futari Wa 45. So a couple of episodes ago, we briefly saw that the classroom that Honoka and Nagisa are in won a choir contest against the other classrooms. And so in this episode, they're going to regionals, basically. I don't know if that's what it's called, but they're competing against another school, and they have to bring their A game. So a new character is introduced, Chiaki, who is apparently the classroom's choir lead director. And Chiaki wants to bring out their A+ game and wants to innovate and come up with a new song, and she writes the ending to the show. Technically, I think they hear the ending to Futari Wa in the record store, but she turns it into a choir piece that they can all perform. She gives Nagisa and Honoka a solo duet. They're not singing together, but they each get their own solo and they're right next to each other, and then they bring in the rest of the girls when they finish the chorus. And the day of the competition, guess what happens? Some bad guys show up, and they're going to do some evil stuff, and the girls are going to stop that evil stuff.
And the girls are like, oh no, but the competition.
Right. So the choir girls are worried about where Nagisa and Honoka went, who also have the solo performances. And Nagisa and Honoka, while fighting the bad guys, are like, oh man, there's this important competition going on. In the end, though, nothing really happens. They just kind of win the way that they normally do. And that's how the episode ends.
Did you like this episode?
Surprisingly, yes. So, little peek behind the curtains. Kat has a job where she actually goes into the office and leaves the house, whereas I have the privilege of working from home. So occasionally on my lunch breaks, I will have time to work on the podcast, be that editing or maybe getting the thumbnail ready. And we knew we wanted to watch a second episode of Futari Wa this week. And I didn't want to watch the episode without Catherine, but how was I going to create the thumbnail? How was I going to get the sticker sheet without going through the episode? So I had the episode on mute and with no subtitles, but the visuals were going by and I was taking pictures. And something about this episode, this might be my favorite post-Poloon episode since the defeat of Jaku King the first time. And I don't know what the secret sauce is.
I do.
Oh, you do?
The last couple of episodes have had the singing competition plot, like, running in the background.
Mm.
And just having any sort of continuous plot was really nice. Also, the girls were all really cute together, like them trying to encourage their composer because she's working so hard to encourage them. Like, that was nice.
Yeah, I really like Chiaki's visual design. She's got little half-rimmed glasses. I like her mini arc where she wants to do a really good job but can't quite figure out what she's missing from the choir. I think also just Nagisa and Honoka are good support units and also good leads in this episode. A lot of times I think that the main character in a high school setting is usually like the kid who has like the most impact on the school. And Nagisa hasn't really been doing that for me. She just feels like someone who just kind of accidentally fell upon the PreCure title. But in this episode, she's taking an active role in helping Chiaki come up with what song they're going to sing and all this other stuff. There's also an absolutely hilarious thing. I laughed out loud to the point where I was almost in tears. It's Juna, or Jura, I'm pretty sure it's Juna, doing the Superman pose and just flying into the screen, and it just looks so ridiculous. It was wonderful.
It was pretty good.
How about you? Yeah, it sounds like you were pretty positive about this episode as well.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Them singing the opening was super cute.
Yes.
Like, I hate to use this word on our PreCure podcast, but it conveys a certain emotion. I'm always a for characters singing the theme song.
Interesting. You know I'm going to have to bleep that. I guess people will be able to figure out from context what kind of word you might have used there. But, yeah, today's episode might be a little bit shorter, but I think we're kind of done with Futari Wa stuff. Question for you, I guess, before we put a bow on this. Do you think Kiriya will play any kind of a role moving forward other than maybe a cameo in the finale?
I think maybe he'll tell them something about Jaku King that gives them an edge in the final battle.
I was thinking like maybe there would be an all hope is lost moment where the three seeds have taken on their ultra forms or whatever, and maybe Nagisa and Honoka have like transformed back into their street clothes, and maybe Kiriya will appear as a spirit and like help protect them from like a blast or something, or tell Honoka to get back up on her feet because he believes in her. But I don't think that he'll have any more than like a passing. Even if he shows up to help, it will only be for like a minute. It won't be for like a full episode or something.
Totally.
Okay.
Tell me about this Fresh movie. The Kingdom of Toys is a sad, sad place.
So this episode was not originally going to be called the state mandated or court mandated Christmas episode. When Kat and I were watching this, at the very beginning, the four girls, the Clover girls, I don't think that's it doesn't matter. The four girls are going to have a pajama party, which is something that has been in quite a few PreCure seasons. So when they mentioned it, I turned to her and I go, it's the state-mandated pajama party. And then that's when we made the connection that the Christmas episode is also state-mandated for most seasons. The girls are having a pajama party, and a bunch of toys start disappearing from town, which has nothing to do with the pajama party, and then the girls decide to try and figure out where the toys are going. Love has a stuffed rabbit from when she was really little that comes to life and starts talking, and I believe that it could always talk is the implication, but has chosen not to talk to her until this very moment to tell them that some bad stuff is going down. They go to the Toy Kingdom, which maybe you remember us mentioning. Westar and Solar briefly appeared in like 3 episodes ago. Apparently that was a backdoor pilot for some of these characters. They look for the bad guy, whose name I can't remember. They get separated and have to face individual trials. They triumph, and then they come together to fight the giant mecha bear robot guy. They use their Cloverleaf grand finale, and it doesn't work. He takes on an even bigger, stronger form, and they're like, what are we going to do? And then Momozona Love goes Super Saiyan.
And becomes...
Cure Angel.
Cure Angel.
It was a fantastic new kind of revelation. It was an interesting way to take the movie. And then she uses that power to save the toys. And then the moral of the story, because the bad guy basically was saying that children eventually abandon their toys. You know, he watched Toy Story a couple of times and was like, oh, that Woody guy, what a tragic character. So the girls, now that they know that toys can feel feelings, have decided to give away their toys, so instead of being forgotten in the back of the corner, they will be able to share love with like a new generation type of a thing. And that's been your succinct summary!
It's a beautiful, sweet, sweet succinct summary. I liked this movie okay. I felt like the timing was weird. Not the timing, the pacing.
Yeah, okay. Too slow at the front, too long at the back.
Too slow at the front, and then all at once at the back.
Okay, yeah.
But this movie gave me Cure Angel, and so it's the best Cure movie ever. Like, I legitimately, like, squealed, I think, when she was on screen.
It's such a pretty design. They nailed it with it. Yeah, I think that some parts of this were interesting, but some parts weren't. So the bunny toy, Usopion is what Love called it, knows that there's this creature, what was it called, like Majin toy or something?
It was Toy Majin.
Toy Majin.
Which
and Majin,
just means toy devil.
Yeah, I was about to say, Majin apparently means devil. We looked that up, because it's also in Dragon Ball Z. But the Kingdom of Toys is being ruled by this guy who wants to take on the resentment of all these other toys. And Usopion knows that this is happening, but doesn't know where he is. So, like, did she receive a text? Like, what up? It's your dude. Come help me overthrow the humans. So she knew that the plan was being enacted, but didn't know where he was?
Maybe resentment is magnetic.
Okay.
And so, like, the more Usopion felt resentful, like, the more she felt drawn to...
Okay, so she was able to tell that, like, something was happening.
She's like, it's over there.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
That was a little strange. When they mention Toy Majin to everyone around them, all the other toys are like, nope, we don't know anything about that. And I thought that was a little strange. But once Count Roulette showed up, I'd say that's where the movie, like, actually starts. And I liked everything past that point. There were some great jokes. The scene at the end after they've used their Clover finale and Toy Majin takes on his strongest form, Love basically realizes that Usopion is inside the amalgamation of all these toys mushed together and wants to save her toy. So she's like...
She wants to apologize.
She wants to apologize and that sort of thing. And she transforms back into her human form at one point in order to do it. And I really like that scene of her trying to, like, run up the monster's arm in order to try to make that plea to her friend.
It definitely speaks to who Love is as a character, which is one of the reasons we wanted to see this season so badly and one of the reasons we're enjoying it so much.
Yeah, Love is absolutely one of my favorite pink cures. I really like Star Twinkle, but, I mean, Hikaru can't hold a candle to... Hikaru can't hold a candle to Love, in my opinion.
So seeing this, what are you hoping to get out of the Tropical Rouge standalone movie? Like, not necessarily plot-wise.
I don't know. And the standalone movie isn't exactly a standalone movie because it has the other girls in it. So I guess if there was a true standalone movie in Tropical Rouge, I would want the bad guy in some way to be a dark reflection of Manatsu's philosophy, because Momozona Love is all about get your happiness. And I was trying to figure out thematically why the toys fit into it, but in a sense, it's these creatures that feel as though they've lost their chance at happiness, and love tries to reassure them that there's always hope. So in a sense, it ties back to her personal philosophy. So from a standalone Tropical Rouge, I would want Manatsu's ideas to be challenged and for her to overcome the bad guys with love and compassion or whatever it is that is her driving force. Although the Witch of Delays is already a pretty good foil, so you need to find a new way to challenge Manatsu that isn't just a copy-paste from the series.
Totally. I don't think that Toei would do this, but I would love to see a standalone movie focus on just one or two of the cures in a team.
Okay.
So maybe like Asuka and Minori and Sango are all busy, and it's just Manatsu and Laura taking on some kind of threat.
If I recall correctly, I believe the Star Twinkle solo movie is basically focused on just Hikaru and Lala. I know the other three show up and they have their own like little plots, but I think they're in the background for a lot of it.
Yeah, Lala and Hikaru raise a child together.
There's no subtext here about their relationship. But because the Tropical Rouge movie is not a standalone technically, it has the Heartcatch girls, the thing I most want to see when they cross over is just wacky combinations. Like, I want to see Laura and Erica use their gremlin energy together, and I want Minori and Itsuki to be the yellow Kiers together. The kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but they have like certain personality traits. They're kind of like, they're both kind of the smarty kind of characters.
I feel like Manatsu would be good for Tsubomi in the same way that Erica was good for Tsubomi.
Yeah, I think so. Help her come out of her shell and that sort of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Imagine Tsubomi yelling, "I've had enough," at all the other cures and their antics. You know what I desperately want? And we're never going to get this, but I desperately want there to be a PreCure movie where the two teams think that they're each other's enemy at the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely.
A la
the classic
the
comic
DC
book.
Marvel
Yes.
crossovers.
And yeah, that would be awesome. But you're right. I think that there's probably a what's it called? Like a lore book or something where it's like all PreCure characters must always be good characters. Like they never really do anything that's below board or whatever.
Totally. Well, in that one movie we saw, there was briefly a moment where they were like, "Hey, why are you trying to steal Mofaroon?"
I guess that is true, but they didn't fight as PreCure and it got resolved pretty quickly. So that's the
Yeah.
kind of thing that I'm talking about. I liked that Toy Majin had this armor that was a bunch of different colors. And it made me think that maybe Toy Majin was like a Mechazord, and that ends up kind of being true. It's like this sort of like gathering of all of the abandoned toys. I think in a slightly different toned movie, they could have had the girls separated, and each one of them has to fight a different general, as you might call them. So maybe Minori is fighting like a black robot, and maybe Miki is fighting a green robot. And then when they each have their individual triumphs, they can combine together into Toy Majin's true form. I think that would be kind of a cool thing, but that feels a little bit more like a Power Rangers kind of a way to go in.
It still would be fun, though.
It would be really fun.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Power Rangers got some stuff right, and one of them was putting trains in a season. This is a Tokuger Appreciation podcast.
So we had 4 girls get separated and face individual challenges. Which one did you like the best, do you think? For those who did not have the privilege of watching this movie, Love fought a Kill Bill crash test dummy looking kind of thing that had nunchucks and was going, "Wacha, wacha!" like Bruce Lee every time he, swung the nunchucks. Minori's from Tropical Rouge. Buki fought a T-Rex that really reminded me of the Red Dino from X-Men comics. And Miki went on a fun space adventure where she got to drive around a spaceship. And then Setsuna fought a magical chessboard, but she didn't play chess. She just fought the pieces transformed into soldiers, which I thought was kind of a missed opportunity there.
I think Setsuna's was my favorite just because of how badass she was.
Oh, yeah.
But Love's made me laugh the most. Also, there's a really awesome final scene in that one where he goes to punch and Love catches it and then explodes him. And that's how she wins.
I am lost as to what exactly happened in that scene, but it was very well animated, and you could tell something was happening the way that Crash Test Dummy, for lack of a better word, kept, like, taking a step forward and then jumping back, and then taking a step forward and then jumping back.
It was very good.
Yes. Have we seen the last of Cure Angel?
I'm going to say yes. I think that was a movie-only transformation.
PreCure has a lot of movie-only transformations. I believe that Cure Grace is famous for having, like, way more than all of the other Cures and stuff like that. But it would be kind of cool if it showed up later.
Well, and Cure Angel was all about the hearts of the world speaking.
That's true.
To, whoever. In this case, it was the toys. And so we would have to have a bad guy where Love needed other people's hearts to speak through her.
She needs to do the spirit bomb. Yeah. So in one of the Dragon Ball Z movies, none of them can actually take place in canon because, like, in this movie, Trunks has the sword, but Trunks doesn't get the sword until episode 97, but immediately after 97, he has to go fight Cell, and in this movie, he doesn't know who Cell is. Therefore, it must take place after and before 97 at the same time, right? It's that kind of logic. There's a movie that has to do with an evil Namekian who shows up on Earth that Goku fights. That's Lord Slug. I think it's like the 5th or 6th movie. And while Goku is fighting this creature, this man, he briefly gets a golden aura and becomes stronger. And you're like, what is this? But if you've watched the show, you know that Goku is about to get his Super Saiyan form in the actual show. And this was kind of like a hint to it. So I would love if this movie showed us their season finale form, and I would love if we got to see Miki and Buki and Setsuna also get the angel wings and stuff.
That would be rad.
Yes. Also, shout out to the outfits in this movie. Setsuna's is one of the most awesome outfits I've ever seen a PreCure character in, and Miki, in the brief moments before she got in the spaceship, or before she transformed, she looked great in her kind of Star Trek outfit.
The Fresh girls are so stylish.
Yes, I think they did a really good job with that season.
We didn't have any thoughts from the crew this week, because that one welder guy is only following along with Tropical Rouge.
Yeah, we forgot to elicit tropical thoughts, and because last week's episode came out so late, we didn't have a lot of time to put our feelers out.
Although, you did have a humorous Fresh PreCure related interaction on the PreCure Discord when you posted your sticker sheet.
Oh, yes. So last week, I made the sticker sheets for Fresh episodes 37, 38, and 39. Someone posted a picture of Love doing a blep, and I was like, that looks very familiar. That's from episode 39 when the girl, or 37, when the girls seem to be getting mad at each other and Love tries to calm Chiffon down. And someone said, I was looking for what episode this face was from. I thought it was from this earlier episode, but I couldn't find it. And I said, no, it's episode 37. I just watched it. And they respond with, I know. I spent hours looking for it. And as soon as I realized what episode it's from, you post the sticker. You could have solved it if you just posted it an hour earlier. I don't know what to tell them, you know?
Stolen valor, almost. Not quite.
Absolutely. Really quickly, for next week, I would also like to watch another 2 episodes of Futari Wa. Let's get that broccoli shoved down my throat and get this season over with.
Watch us binge all of
I'm only going to commit to 2 episodes for next week, but maybe we'll watch more, who knows? And then we'll probably watch at least 2 episodes of Fresh.
Also, listen, we are going on an adventure. We are going to be gone all week, and we're not getting back until Monday of next week, so next week's episode probably will also be late.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put it out on Twitter. I'm guessing probably no earlier than Thursday the 13th, but we don't go on adventures very often, so hopefully with this, all of the holidays and all of the travel and all that stuff will be settled, and we can go back to trying to be out every Wednesday or whatever.
Totally.
And that has been your final thought. Outro goes here. Thanks for listening, everyone, and don't forget to get your happiness.
Sabumi, I can't get my Doritos open!
Erica! Push down and twist him to the right. You're smart enough to overcome the child-proof lock that I put on the Doritos.
What a shining episode of Cure of the What Now. Thanks for being our Nakama.
Thank you as always for your support. If you could, very kindly, be sure to like or share this with any of your friends. Let them know that we're always open to suggestions or thoughts about any particular episode.
And please take a moment to rate and review us on wherever you get our podcast from. Except for YouTube. You can't rate and review us on YouTube, but you can like and subscribe.
Absolutely. If you like what we're doing, even just a comment that says keep up the great work is always helpful for brightening our day.
Absolutely. Joel, where can our fine listeners find you if they want more of you?
Absolutely. The best way to get in touch with us is to go onto Twitter and find us at KOTWN_pod. That's where we're most active. But of course, we also have a Gmail. That's KingOfTheWhatPod at gmail.com.
You can also find me at Pirate Ghost Host.
She is much more prolific than I am, but not all of her content is necessarily about the podcast, whereas the other one tries to focus more on the show.
You like our sticker sheets? Joel's got sticker sheets for you. And that has been your Tropica outro.
Do-do-do-do. You'll be dancing with me today.